Fusaichi Pegasus, I think the thing that stands him apart from other horses is that he seems to be on another plane.
Fusaichi Pegasus is cantering.
He doesn't do things like other horses.
Those ears are going back and forth.
He doesn't run like other horses.
And he's just ambling up.
And you just have to accept him for what he is.
Fusaichi Pegasus strikes the front.
And that is a truly great horse.
Like any superstar would be, there's always something going on around him.
Fusaichi Pegasus, though, still got those ears cocked. He's been hand-ridden.
When you have that aura, you have to back it up with performance, and of course he has, especially in the Kentucky Derby.
But here comes Fusaichi Pegasus.
Fusaichi Pegasus is a great horse.
With huge strides, gobbling up ground.
I think on that day we saw a horse, you know, put up a performance the like of which I haven't seen for a long time.
Fusaichi Pegasus wins it by a length and a half.
Well, I was much more impressed with his performance in the Jerome.
And there goes the Derby winner, Fusaichi Pegasus.
I thought it was brilliant. I mean, this horse has got a turn of speed right now.
And Fusaichi Pegasus has taken over the lead.
I mean, when this horse is set down, he goes right down.
Fusaichi Pegasus in front, out of the grid on the inside.
He's got an awesome turn of foot.
Fusaichi Pegasus returns to the races with a win in the Jerome Mile.
Not a lot of horses have that.
And Fusaichi Pegasus runs by the front runners.
Secretary had it years ago. Seattle Slew.
A firm's got a nose in front.
Alidar. Spectacular bid. But after that, it gets very thin. And this is the first horse that we've seen that has had that kind of brilliance.
He was the best looking foal I've ever had on the farm. The day after he was born, I told my partner, the McNairs, that we ought to nickname him Superman, because he really did look that good.
He's got a great character and personality. I think of him as being a very strong horse. He's balanced and he's strong and masculine.
The thoroughbred version of the American dream is to win the Kentucky Derby. And the truth is, some thoroughbreds are born with a head start. When a horse is one of the last runners by a stallion legend, the story gathers momentum. When his dam is a full sister to a classic winner, the writing is writ large on the wall. And when that horse has the best yearling judges clamoring to buy him, you have all the portents for a golden future. It's now part of racing history that Fusaichi Pegasus came up smelling of roses. A dream horse from the outset. He cost $4 million as a yearling in 1998, the highest price paid anywhere in the world that year.
I thought he was a very, very, very striking yearling and a very good horse with an excellent pedigree.
He was bright and alert. He just looked like an athlete. I mean, everything about him, every point that you could pick, you know, was perfect.
He's the son of Mr. Prospector, the jewel among U.S. sires for 2 unbroken decades. And sons of Mr. Prospector, himself the top-priced yearling of his crop, have been shaping the breed in North America. Mr. Prospector line stallions have sired 14 of the last 30 classic winners in the U.S. That's a remarkable 47%. The next best line, that of Northern Dancer, accounts for 26%. What's more, Fusaichi Pegasus is superbly connected on his dam side. His dam, the Danzig mare Angel Fever, won her first start by 11 lengths before sustaining an injury on her second. Dr. Gary Lavin, who raised her at his Longfield farm, said she was the best racehorse ever campaigned by the famed Loblolly stable. Not just the best filly or mare, but the best racehorse.
His dam is a full sister to another very good racehorse in Pine Bluff. He doesn't really need any more credentials to make him appeal to the commercial breeder today.
When Hancock sent him through the sales ring at Keeneland, Fusao Sakaguchi was entranced. The Japanese entrepreneur made the inspired decisions of, firstly, securing the colt, and secondly, selecting Neil Drysdale to train him. A horseman of legendary patience, Drysdale wasn't to be tempted to rush him back after undergoing ankle surgery at 2, giving him all the time necessary to develop into the champion he became. When he lined up for the Kentucky Derby, Fusaichi Pegasus had 4 straight victories under his belt.
First time I ever laid eyes on this horse is when he won at Santa Anita in an allowance race. And he impressed me so much that I ranked him #1 as my #1 Kentucky Derby contender. This is back in February. and he had never even run in a stakes race. There's just something about him. He's got a presence to him that just shouts out greatness.
And Fusaichi Pegasus still looking all around. He is correct. He's just having a romp out here. Fusaichi Pegasus strolling home could not have been more impressive. Tribunal second. Commendable stride strongly onto the backstretch, leading by 2. But Fusaichi Pegasus still going very, very nicely here on a long hole. He's just ambling along in second.
In the Grade 2 San Felipe Stakes, he outgunned subsequent Grade 1 winner, the Deputy, with Anise, winner of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile 4 months earlier, left toiling back in third.
Into the top of the lane, Fusaichi Pegasus strikes the front. The Deputy's running his heart out on the outside, and he's not going well enough. And it's Fusaichi Pegasus just over a length. The very game the Deputy is chasing him home every inch of the way. Fusaichi Pegasus, though, still got those ears cocked. He's been hand-ridden, and Fusaichi Pegasus could not have been more impressive.
And Fusaichi Pegasus is in perfect striking position.
And then the horse made yet another quantum leap in the Grade 2 Wood Memorial Stakes at Aqueduct, when, despite his inexperience, he toyed with a big field. He sauntered clear to win by 4 lengths from the unbeaten Red Bullet, subsequent winner of the Preakness Stakes, with Aptitude, who would chase him home at Churchill Downs, a further 1.5 lengths back in third.
And Fusaichi Pegasus is asked for his best in mid-stretch into the final furlong, and Fusaichi Pegasus runs by the front runners, and he's pulling away, and he is pulling away impressively. Red Bullet left behind, Country only third, Aptitude fourth. Fusaichi Pegasus will roll into Kentucky as the favorite in the Derby.
When it comes to the Derby, convention dictates that 5 lifetime starts, he'd finished an educational second on his racecourse debut, is not the ideal springboard. You need racing experience, seasoning, exposure to the claustrophobia of a big Derby field.
It's a hard race to win for any horse because, for one thing, they'll never, ever in their life face anything like it again, and they certainly haven't faced anything like it before, quite a bit like the Derby. It's a unique experience.
To win it, you need a bloody good horse. That's basically. But you need a horse that's going to go a mile and a quarter.
Riders up.
You need a strong horse because he has had to go through these traps, and the traps in themselves are quite tough. There's a full crop in the United States of 35, 36, 37,000. You're competing against a crop of 37,000 horses.
The favorite, Fusaichi Pegasus, now at 2-1.
In the past, there were a lot of bad horses that ran in the Derby because it was open to anyone. Now it's restricted to 20 horses. So the 20 horses that run in it are all good horses.
There are 20 horses going around a mile oval. So you also need a horse that is tractable, that can stop and start.
He stamped his authority on a competitive race in a way that you rarely see, I think.
And Fusaichi Pegasus finds a little racing room on the inside. There's a lot of ground to make up, about 8 lengths from the front.
There was just something about the way he dominated the field. It's not often you sort of watch a race and think, even when the horse is midfield, that he's looking as if he's all over them in the way that he was.
And wheel away, swings to the middle of the racetrack. Fusaichi Pegasus is 5th at this point, more than ready at the rail. Down the stretch, they come in the Derby. Wheel away, takes command by a head, more than ready on the inside. But here comes Fusaichi Pegasus with huge strides, gobbling up ground and getting the lead. Fusaichi Pegasus with Kitson Sormo in front, Aptitude up for the place spot. Here's the finish. Fusaichi Pegasus wins it by a length and a half.
Class seemed to ooze from this majestic colt on Derby Day, a fact acknowledged by many who witnessed his blistering burst of acceleration down the stretch.
It's probably one of the most impressive since probably Secretariat with the ease with which he won.
I've been impressed by him, especially with the fact that he's got so many different gears.
The thing that makes him great, too, is that he has more than one run.
Fusaichi Pegasus has 2 and 3 and, well, perhaps even 4 moves in a race.
The horse was able to use that big, long stride of his to just gradually get closer and closer.
I think he had gear for every situation that he got in. He was able to move up and get his position going down the backside.
He's able to respond when he's needed, and so you'll see him, as he did in the Derby, have that great burst of speed to get into position on the far turn.
Once this horse gets rolling, he's just unstoppable.
The burst of speed at the top of the stretch to maintain.
When he turned for home, I think he had another gear left.
And then the big finish down through the lane.
He's probably the only Kentucky Derby winner I've ever seen that was not touched with the whip the entire stretch.
I think that's something that every good horse has, but they do have more than one run to them.
I think he could have won as far as he pleased.
There was perfect symmetry, too, in the fact that Fusaichi Pegasus had finally given his sire, the recently deceased Mr. Prospector, his first triumph in the Kentucky Derby. Until then, it was the only race of substance missing from Mr. Prospector's outstanding record. And Fusaichi Pegasus became the first favorite to prevail at Churchill Downs since Spectacular Bid way back in 1979. The commercial appeal of Fusaichi Pegasus is obvious. Remember that Mr. Prospector was a rare gold mine. He topped the stallion average list at Keeneland's July Select Yearling Sale every year since 1992. Fusaichi Pegasus promises to leave a legacy every bit as rich as the one he inherited at birth. It's a well-known saying in this business, success breeds success.
All those horses that win a Kentucky Derby, they're all good horses. It takes a good horse to win a Kentucky Derby, and he is the real thing.
Anytime you get a Mr. Prospector that would win the Kentucky Derby, I think you've got a lot of things going for you.
He's certainly an eyeful and a pleasure to look at, and of course a real pleasure to watch run.
He's an intelligent horse, and of course from a stallion point of view, it's brilliant because he's so well bred, a very good looking horse, and speed to spare.
Great efficiency of motion.
It's High Yield, the leader by 4.
Got over the ground well. Great energy every day.
And High Yield will win it. The winner by 4.5 lengths.
Always trained well. Always was eager to do well.
Al's Hope High Yield in the 54th Fountain of Youth, and they are even.
He had good tactical speed, yet carried it over a distance of ground.
High Yield runs away and now leads by 3. Al's Hope is second.
He was always a very, very competitive horse.
High Yield is in front at the 8th pole. It is High Yield in front.
A lot of heart, and he tried well in every race.
And High Yield will win it. The winner by 4.5 lengths.
Most of the things that anybody as a trainer would like to see in a horse.
And it was just a walk in the park for High Yield.
Ask any stallion master what he'd like for Christmas, and he'd reply in an instant, a son of Stormcat, the sire par excellence. In 2001, Coolmore brings you 2, Giant's Causeway and High Yield, the latter a $1.05 million yearling who ran just as fast as his price tag suggested. As you'd expect of one so expensive, High Yield is a strongly made, rugged, athletic colt. And he was blessed with the ideal racing temperament, embracing a campaign that saw him shirk no challenge.
It's High Yield, the leader by 4. Settlement and exciting story, and they're coming down to the line.
Given that he raced exclusively in the highest class, his consistency was something to behold. The pick of his 8 starts at 2 was undoubtedly the Grade 1 Hopeful Stakes at Saratoga.
In front of the 8th pole, it is High Yield in front. Exciting Story is now second, and Settlement is third and coping belatedly, but time is running out. It's High Yield, the leader by 4. Settlement and Exciting Story, and they're coming down to the line, and High Yield will win it. The winner by 4.5 lengths.
That 5-length tally was achieved in the fastest time since the Hopeful was extended to 7 furlongs in 1994.
He probably was our best horse ever in the Hopeful. The Hopeful has always been well regarded by the breeders. It seems like it comes at a time of the year, at a distance, in the right place, Saratoga, where most of the breeders use it as the benchmark as to what would make a good stallion. Almost all Hopeful winners have gone on with great success in the breeding shed.
High Yield won or placed in 7 of his 8 juvenile starts, among them the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, the Hollywood Futurity and the Champagne Stakes, each of them Grade 1.
They're up. High Yield broke running and goes for the front. Owl's Hope is close up as well.
And High Yield quickly dismissed any supposition that he was just a hard-running 2-year-old by posting 2 further Grade 1 triumphs at 3. The Fountain of Youth Stakes at Gulfstream Park and the Bluegrass Stakes at Keeneland.
High Yield at the rail. Owl's Hope to the outside. Elite Mercedes now.
The thing that stamps him in the Fountain of Youth more than anything else is that the fractions were very, very fast, and yet he stayed in the race. He was near the pace or on the pace most of the way, and then in spite of those fast fractions, he finished very well.
To the outside. High Yield at the rail, and these two are inseparable as they hit the top of the stretch. High Yield at the rail. Owl's Hope to the outside. They come to the mid-stretch together. Elite Mercedes is next. Doing Fino, and from the back of the pack, American Bullet and High Yield has taken a short lead. Owl's Hope can't quite run with him, and High Yield runs away and now leads by 3. Owl's Hope is second, and Elite Mercedes, High Yield in front.
The Bluegrass saw High Yield display the full range of his many talents.
He was pressed throughout the race. He had to meet the challenge of More Than Ready, who was a world-class horse in itself.
And High Yield sneaks through an opening toward the inside and puts Owl's Hope to an early test midway on the first turn.
And he held off that challenge. I thought his determination was typical Stormcat.
High Yield has the advantage by 3 parts of a length. Owl's Hope is still second.
Having eased his way into the lead, showing terrific early speed, High Yield out-dueled Hell's Hope in mid-race before settling down to a terrific stretch-long battle with More Than Ready. It was a duel where courage saw the winner home.
More Than Ready is engaging High Yield. Fair Outline is there in third. Wheel Away coming. Deputy Warlock is still far back. And in the final furlong of the Toyota Bluegrass, High Yield is dead game on the inside. More Than Ready is right there with him. These two to the line. High Yield takes the Toyota Bluegrass.
I think it stamped him as a real competitor.
As for his pedigree, there's plenty more than Stormcat to recommend him. High Yield is the second foal from the stakes-winning 49er mare Scoop the Gold, a half-sister to Irish Classic heroine and champion 2-year-old filly Forest Flower, also winner of the Cherry Hinton and Queen Mary Stakes. 3 times a Grade 1 winner, High Yield hit the board in a further 7 races, including 6 graded stakes, 4 of them Grade 1. High Yield is that all-too-precious commodity, a son of Stormcat that just loved to run at the highest level.
The combination of a great pedigree, Stormcat being a sire of sires on a 49er mare, I think that is going to serve him very well. And then you couple it with extremely good conformation. His conformation is exceptional, and I've had probably more Stormcats than anybody and had more of them pass through my barn. And I would be hard-pressed to name one that would come even close to him in conformation. Those 2 things, I think, will serve him very well. Plus, when you add in the little kicker of great mile speed, which breeders like, I think he's a can't-miss candidate. I don't know how he could miss in this study.
And High Yield will win it by 4.5 lengths. He struts under the line to win by 10.
High Yield runs away and now leads by 3.
And High Yield, the winner, by 4.5 lengths.
Down the outside, racing to Giant's Causeway. Giant's Causeway fighting back. Giant's Causeway wins the St. James's Palace.
Giant's Causeway, a wonderful horse. I admired him enormously.
But can he hold off Calanisi on the outside? It's Giant's Causeway. Calanisi swooping, but Giant's Causeway fights back on the far side. Race head to head. Giant's Causeway.
You're talking about a horse winning that number of races at that level of competition against all ages as well in an incredibly short time.
And on the near side, Dan Silly ranges up to Giant's Causeway. It's going to be a battle to the line, and the better fighter wins. It's Giant's Causeway. He gets up for another Group 1.
He is a remarkable animal, and I doubt that we will see that record emulated again.
You can't believe any horse could achieve what he's achieved.
Giant's Causeway is battling well. Calanisi on the near side. Calanisi's just in front of Giant's Causeway. So they fight again. It's Calanisi and Giant's Causeway at the line. Oh, Giant's Causeway maybe.
It's very rare to see a top-class horse who's as robust as he is.
Giant's Causeway digging deep once again on the inside. Best of the best in second, but Giant's Causeway is going to do it as they race up towards the line. Giant's Causeway wins it.
In a funny way, I wish he had equalled Mill Reef's record of 6 straight Group 1 races. He deserved to. Very tough horse.
I mean, you need a super horse, a special horse to win 5 Group 1s off the trot.
They called him the Iron Horse, but that was merely the sum of his parts. Giant's Causeway was infinitely more than that. He was born with a priceless gift, one bestowed on a lucky handful of sporting icons. It is known as the will to win.
This horse has earned his street cred, and the public adore a horse like that they know will fight and die for you.
If you're putting together all the attributes that one wants in a racehorse, well, he had them all in abundance, but I think courage is the one thing that you can't give a racehorse, and when you have it in abundance like he did, it was just fantastic.
As he embarked on a season of unparalleled achievement, his opponents strewn like flotsam in his wake, no commentator could recall anything like it. But then, how often are the virtues of speed, class, and courage infused in equal measures inside a racehorse of uncommon soundness and athleticism?
You see horses with great ability who don't necessarily love the game too much, but when you see an animal combining great talent with the kind of spirit he has, then you are excited to your core by that.
There are very, very few horses you can keep throwing at events at the top level, having to battle hard and coming back not only for more, but better than ever.
The remarkable fact is that Giant's Causeway annexed 5 consecutive Group 1 races in 13 weeks. Only one other horse has equaled that feat in one season, the legendary Nijinsky. Mill Reef did win 6 in a row, but it took him 2 years. And of course, both Nijinsky and Mill Reef went on to become outstanding sires. 6 furlongs or 10, small fields or large, fast ground or heavy, front running or stalking, turf tracks or dirt. None of it mattered to the irrepressible Giant's Causeway. What he particularly loved was to compete. That, and to keep everyone on the edge of their seat. In hindsight, an extraordinary career seemed to beckon Giant's Causeway like a chosen son.
Racing down to the final 200 yards and Giant's Causeway going on in the Michael Canaan. Rams has come through now to take the second from Polish Penag. So up to the line of what
Unbeaten in 3 juvenile starts, including the Group 1 Prix de la Salamandre and Longchamp, he, along with Vasiliev, were the brightest stars in Ballydoyle's juvenile galaxy.
He was a very good 2-year-old, won 3 out of 3. Very easy. He never got a slap down the shoulder as a 2-year-old, which is very unusual. And like we always thought, like the sky was going to be the limit for him.
Au premier poteau, la course est déjà entendue pour Giant Causeway qui va rallier le deuxième sans être inquiété par Race Leader qui sera deuxième, Bashir troisième.
Even then, he surpassed the wildest of expectations at 3. And in the process, he made himself look like the most uncomplicated creature on earth. He was the very essence of a thoroughbred racehorse. The harder his race would appear, the hungrier he'd return to the track. He was a model, the image, if you like, of every owner or breeder's desire. He certainly broke some hearts, 20 of them Group 1 winners. Many among them more than once.
Giant's Causeway over on the far side and Bashir. They're stride for stride from Chevrolet. Hold on for an effort now. They've come towards the final furlong. It's Giant's Causeway. Bashir, Valentino, Chevrolet in the centre, fighting up from Salafino. Valentino down the outside, racing to Giant's Causeway. Giant's Causeway fighting back. Medicia getting up, but Giant's Causeway wins the St. James's colours.
We saw then the character and strength of his toughness, which was to be repeated through the summer.
And now push comes to shove. Starkey, he likes the battle on the rail. Giant's Causeway, the mare Sheila's coming at her, and Giant's Causeway gets past Starkey. But can he hold off? Calanisi on the outside. Sheila between the pair. It's Giant's Causeway. Calanisi whooping down the outside to Yarmacon. But Giant's Causeway fights back on the far side for George Duffield. They make head to head. Giant's Causeway and 53-year-old George Duffield
his horse. It's down to him.
He was beaten that day.
He wants to win.
Half a furlong down, like it looked like Calanisi came to beat him.
Absolutely no. Calanisi just rolled past him.
When Calanisi came past him, I thought it was all over.
Quickened up and went to go and beat him, but he wouldn't surrender.
Slowly, sort of gradually, inexorably, in those last few strides, he got back up again.
In the last 10 yards, I knew he'd win.
It was tear-wrenching, wasn't it, to see him come back and beat Calanisi.
1984 it was when Vincent de Bruin won his last Eclipse Stakes with the great founding father of so many great horses, Sadler's Wells. Well, Giant's Causeway, a giant name for what is a really terrific horse.
Jabber on the far side, being tackled by Giant's Causeway. Here's Dan Silly, the danger, followed by Valentino Medician, and further back is Golden Silver, a furlong to go. And on the near side, Dan Silly ranges up to Giant's Causeway. It's going to be a battle to the line, and the better fighter wins. It's Giant's Causeway. He gets up for another Group 1.
He's been so consistent at top level, and I think the secret is that he does it on his talent. He knows when to win and just how much effort is required.
When he won at Goodwood, and the interview with Michael Tabor afterwards, he said, well, Michael, this, I suppose, now you'll be going for the International at York. He says, well, unless there's a race in between. He was only having a joke, of course, but that is what the horse is. And he's got a special place in the public's imagination.
Causeway takes over, but here comes Calanisi with his run down the outside. Giant's Causeway, Calanisi looks very strong out wide, challenging wider out, and that may be a sensible joy here. Giant's Causeway possibly can't see him, they're not close together.
Last half furlong then, Calanisi drifted into him because he was very tired.
Giant's Causeway possibly can't see him, they're not close together, and he battles hard as he's got a target, but it's Calanisi and Giant's Causeway as they run to the final furlong. Giant's Causeway is battling well. Calanisi on the near side. Calanisi's just in front of Giant's Causeway, so they fight again. It's Calanisi and Giant's Causeway at the line. Oh, Giant's Causeway maybe. They call him the Iron Horse, a horse with an iron will. He's done it again. Poor old Calanisi.
You really thought this time Calanisi was going to beat him was all the more remarkable. Well, you're talking about sort of levels of courage and reserve that you rarely see at the top class.
Calanisi on the near side. Calanisi's just in front of Giant's Causeway.
Class and courage is a real rarity.
So they fight again. It's Calanisi and Giant's Causeway at the line.
And fascinating to me that the Coolmore Ballydoyle team realised what they had eventually and pinged away with him the whole time. However sporting you are, you tend to wrap the really good ones in cotton wool.
Well, that's the credit I give to Aidan, because he recognised that this horse could take racing continually. After a race, he seems to put on weight.
They've 2 furlongs to race. Best of the best on the near side. Giant's Causeway the inner, and they're clear of Indian Danehill and Greek Dance. They're inside the last 2 furlongs. We're going to have a scrap here with best of the best on the near side. Giant's Causeway the rails. They're 4 clear of Greek Dance and Indian Danehill as they race into the final furlong. Giant's Causeway digging deep once again on the inside. Best of the best in second. Greek Dance coming home well on the outside, but Giant's Causeway is going to do it as they race up towards the line. Giant's Causeway, Greek Dance, but Giant's Causeway wins it.
If we could talk all day about his racing career, we could talk all night about his pedigree. Giant's Causeway sire, Stormcat, is the quintessential young sire of sires. Suffice to say that no son of the outstanding American stallion has achieved like Giant's Causeway. And there could be no finer tribute to him than that paid by Ken McLean, the noted breeding authority who managed the early years of Stormcat's stud career. Riding and pacemaker, McLean ventured, one of the most exciting young stallions in Europe is Giant's Causeway. It would not surprise me if he becomes Coolmore's replacement for Sadler's Wells.
So Stormcat has been a phenomenon in America. Every year there are brilliant horses by him. He has the credentials, this way of being a son of the leading sire in North America and along with Sadler's Wells in the world. He comes from a fast American line that is at the moment showing a great deal of vigor. It's producing good horses in every generation, and it's got quality and it's got performance. Toughness is what every breeder looks for in his stock now. With so much weakness in certain lines, then this is the answer to a prayer.
Durable,
tough, very, very sound, a very important quality in stallions these days that's often overlooked, just how sound he must have been as a racehorse to take the races that he was given, and a horse with tremendous enthusiasm for the game.
Of course, there are considerable American influences within that blood, but it's a massive oversimplification to equate that with running against the best on dirt.
Of course, the Europeans always take the worst of it. After all, they're traveling thousands of miles to come here.
He's been racing at the top level all year. Like every race was D-Day for him. Like, it's very, very big task.
To see a European horse come on and take the Americans on their own ground, at their own game, and to beat them would be a tremendous accomplishment.
Look in my life, look in my heart.
Imagine the constitution of that horse, and how often that horse has 8 Group 1s in the last few months he's had, and he's still coming up for more.
Certainly, Giant's Causeway is the best horse from Europe to run in the Classic who has raced exclusively on turf. If he can overlay that on the Classic on our best 3-year-olds, then I mean, there's a case for him not only being the best horse in North America on the day, but the best horse in the world.
Now I'm ready to rise again.
To have a first race on the dirt, you know, the Breeders' Cup Classic is a really big ask.
And they're on.
You're taking on best at the business and in their own backyard and on a surface that they're used to competing on.
Giant's Causeway is going to get caught 4 wide going into the turn.
Everything is against the horse. All you've got is the bravery, the guts of the animal himself.
Just look in my hopes, look in my dreams, building a bridge from the sea.
There are 2 things he has to overcome here. He has to overcome the fact that the horses in front of him are going to be much better than the horses that he's used to. He's used to having a pace setter in front of him that he can dispose of at will.
You pose so many questions.
Here he's going to have horses like Albert the Great and Tisnow, who are very tough horses, so he's going to have to dispose of them and still have enough to hold off the closers.
Albert the Great and Tisnow, they continue to go at it. Giant's Causeway is called on for his run.
If he can win this race, then you certainly have to call him the horse of the world.
The field comes off the turn. Tisnow on the outside. Albert the Great on the rail. The 2 of them continue to go at it. Here comes Giant's Causeway for Ireland on the outside. They're coming into the final furlong. Tisnow tough as nails. Giant's Causeway on the outside. Giant's Causeway and Tisnow battling head-to-head. A heart-pounding, pulsating stretch drive. And Tisnow prevails.
And now I'm ready to rise again.
There may be a hint of romantic imagination involved here, but I do think you are aware of being in the presence of a remarkable athlete.
Sadler's Wells was a very tough racehorse who ran 9 times as a 3-year-old. Giant's Causeway did that in Europe alone, ran 9 times, and overall has a better racing record than Sadler's Wells. So you can say he retires to stud with similar qualities of soundness and toughness, arguably better ability. What a stallion he looks certain to make.
If people came down in a spaceship and said, what's this horse race? And just show him the Judgment International from York and say that's what our game's about. And it was terrific. I think it'll be a great many years before we see a horse with as much courage as he had.
Big horse with great presence. I think he's a lot of things that make him as good as his natural speed, his determination, his tactical speed, his will to win, his great constitution. He's so sound, probably never get another one. These kind of horses only come in ones.
When the next one emerges, the odds are it will be one of his sons. For there's one thing we learned about Giant's Causeway. With him, anything is possible. There are sires, and there are sires of sires. Nobody would argue against singling out Sadler's Wells, Mr. Prospector, Stormcat, and Danzig as 4 of the most outstandingly influential sires of recent times. Which makes the arrival of Monjou, Giant's Causeway, and Monashee Mountain to Coolmore, Ireland, and Fusaichi Pegasus and High Yield to Ashford even more significant. Each particular horse proved to be outstanding in his own field. And now they all stand ready to influence the breed in possibly even more significant ways than their extraordinary sires have already done. This could prove to be one of the most exceptional opportunities breeders have ever been offered.